Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we are back with a review of a model that is absolutely awesome, and it is a model from a sculptor I have not reviewed in so long. This is from C3D Models, aka Christian Lopez. I did review a Tyrannosaurus Rex from him years ago, but it was printed out in a bit of a cheaper material, so the detail never really showed up the way that it probably should. This one here, obviously, it's the young T-Rex Jr. from the Lost World Jurassic Park, is printed out with a higher quality material, so the details should show up a lot nicer on this one. It's obviously built and painted by me. It is a model that you'd basically purchase the files for, and then you print it out, and then of course, you know, build it and paint it and all of that fun stuff. And this is my finished paintwork and everything, and my finished build for this model, which I am pretty happy with. Never been like great, I would say, at painting Junior, but I think it turned out pretty decent here this time around. But overall, I'm super excited to take a closer look at this, and just in general super excited to finally have some more of his work here to check out on my channel. So let's jump to a closer look and check this one out. So starting here in the head sculpt of the T-Rex, you can see it looks spot on to the way it actually looks in the Lost World Jurassic Park. I think Christian has done an absolutely epic job of sculpting this one out, giving it a really highly detailed look. The skin texture and scale detail is also super crisp here in the face. You've got a bit of variation to the sizes and style of scales and everything here in the face. We can also see the nostrils sculpted out. The eyes are nice and big like you do see on the dinosaur again in the Lost World Jurassic Park. You've also got some really nice looking skin texture as you move down here into the lower jaw as well that my camera does not want to focus on. There you go. You can see how good it all looks down there. The mouth is sculpted in an open position. It's not open super wide, but definitely open a little bit. We can see the teeth all sculpted out in there. They do have a nice genuine sharp look to them. If you actually turn and go inside the mouth, you can really get a good feel for how good the detail is, as well as the tongue and everything in there. Again, the teeth on the lower jaw that my camera doesn't want to focus on all look really nice when it comes to the sculpt. And of course, the paintwork was done by me, so I can't really judge the paintwork. I guess that's up to you guys to decide if that looks good or not. But because this is a green dino, I'm going to have to kind of hold him back a little bit further from the camera. My camera, for some reason, has issues with certain colors, and green is definitely one of the colors that it does not like at all. But we did get the eyes painted up, and again, I think they look pretty decent, and I've added a nice gloss coat to them, so they help to have that kind of wet-like look. But overall, that head sculpt, again, when it comes to the Junior T-Rex from the Lost World Jurassic Park, I would say is so picture perfect. It is by far one of the best interpretations that I have seen of the juvenile T-Rex from the Lost World Jurassic Park. As you move back into the body, of course, you start to see more really nice looking skin texture, nice looking quite vibrant scales. My camera's going to freak out again, but nice looking vibrant scales. You can see a few skin wrinkles and skin folds and stuff as you move down through the neck. You've also got the throat sculpted out really nicely with, again, some nice wrinkles and creases in the throat as you move down. I did try to add like the pinkish tones that you see on the dinosaur as you move through the body. Leading here, you could see the shoulder blade protruding through the skin. You can also kind of make out the rib cage a little bit right there. You've got a few skin wrinkles back behind the arm, leading down into the arms. Both arms are held into the body in a nice, fairly natural way, but I also feel like the entire figure has kind of like that nice neutral look, like almost, again, like a maquette, which is a really cool thing when it comes to any sort of like a Jurassic type collectible, because that's usually how the actual like original maquettes are posed. So I really like that it has that sort of a look. You do also have some scoots moving down the fingers, and the claws do have a really nice genuine sharp look to them as well, which of course is a massive plus. You've got the elbow sculpted out, nice musculature and everything. As you move back here into the stomach, you've got a few skin wrinkles here in front of the thigh, more skin wrinkles as you lead lower down into the underside of the stomach. You also have that classic Jurassic Park T-Rex style scale detail here on the underside of the figure, which again is exactly how you should see the underbelly of a JP Rex looking, at least when it comes to, like, you know, the older Jurassic Park Tyrannosaurs. I don't know about the new Rebirth T-Rex. I'm not sure if it still has that style of skin texture on the underside, but back then that's exactly how they looked. You also have a scoot-like appearance, sort of moving down along the back, basically following along the spinal column. We as well see scoots moving over the hip region right there. Moving down into the leg, you have nice muscle definition. You can really see it very nicely defined back here, all sorts of creases to the skin as you lead down, we have the kneecap right there in the front of the leg. You can see the shins and everything sculpted really nicely. Nice calf muscle as we lead down. Beautiful skin texture the entire way through. And then you lead down into the feet. And as you can see, we've got some scoots moving down the fronts of the toes. You've also got the claws, again, looking very nice as far as the sculpt and having, again, that genuine sharp look. We as well have the dew claws here on the back, the rear of the feet. And then we lead out into the tail, and the tail continues to have that very maquette sort of a look where it just has that really nice slight curve to it leading the entire way out. You have very impressive skin texture on the underside, very impressive skin texture here on the upper side, with again this sort of like scoot-like appearance following along the top of the tail. And of course, that's pretty much what you're going to see when it comes to this T-Rex. When you turn it, you're going to see pretty close to the same sort of thing on the other side, because again, it's in the same position because it is in just that neutral sort of a pose. So no real big differences from one side to the other when it comes to this T-Rex. But as you can see, it is absolutely gorgeous on both sides and is by far, like I said, one of the, if not the best version of the junior Lost World Jurassic Park T-Rex that I have seen yet. And as you can see, it is printed out in a nice sizable manner. So it's, again, very impressive in the size department as well. And we've also got a base for this one. As you can see, there are two pegs that you basically slide into the underside of the feet of the Tyrannosaur. We also have really nice texturing throughout the base, two footprints, which you can see basically right there within the pegs. You've also got all sorts of like little stones and different areas of the earth down here on the base. I did add two plants over here just to add a little bit of life to the base on top of, again, the overall sculpt. But the sculpt is great. And then you also have, I didn't paint the underside, but you also have this really nice kind of like circular area, or actually I should say oval area, that is down underneath the earthy area, just to kind of polish it all off and give it that nice museum quality look. So really nice base to go with a gorgeous T-Rex to create one of the nicest Jurassic Park Tyrannosaurus models I have seen yet. Now, as far as a size goes, for a length from the tail to the snout, about 16.5 inches or 42 centimeters. And then for a height, obviously, this is with it standing up on the base, around 9 inches, or I'd say just a hair over 22.5 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, Robert Muldoon, and the Collect A Human Being next to our C3D Models Tyrannosaurus Rex. And you can very clearly see it's got a pretty darn nice size to it. And when it comes to, Junior from the Lost World Jurassic Park, it is by far the largest version that I have in my collection. And since this is a model that is much larger than pretty much every other version of this T-Rex that I have, I don't think that there's very many that I should really compare with it, because for the most part, they're not going to, size well with it. So we'll just do some randoms. Here we have a Mattel Velociraptor, which is obviously a lot smaller. We've also got a standard Wild Roar figure from Mattel, which we can see here with the Irritator. We've also got the Extreme Damage Tyrannosaurus Rex from Mattel, and here you can really see again how impressive the size is for this model, because obviously the Extreme Damage T-Rex is a decently sized Tyrannosaurus, and this juvenile T-Rex, at least standing on the base, is actually taller right now in this position. But you can very clearly see again, they look pretty decently sized next to each other. Obviously nowhere near accurate, because the juvenile Rex would be a lot smaller, but showing you that either way, this Rex does have some pretty nice size to it. And then when it comes to a comparison with that model I was speaking of earlier, the Tyrannosaurus Rex that he had sculpted out years ago, here you can see it next to the juvenile Rex, and obviously they're kind of similar in size. So if you happen to have purchased that T-Rex, years ago, you might have a pretty good idea of the size of this one. Very, very cool to see, again, his talents on display with both of these models next to each other. And then one more comparison with another Mattel figure, as I have one of the Gigantic Trackers figures here with the Siamosaurus next to the T-Rex, showing you that, again, it's actually kind of similar in size, roughly, to a Gigantic Trackers figure from Mattel. So C3D Models makes some of the best models when it comes to Jurassic Park type dinosaurs that you will find anywhere. And they actually have other dinosaurs as well out, because I do have a Carnotaurus from them, which is honestly just jaw-dropping. I cannot wait to get that one finished and built and painted as well. But the T-Rex that we have here is fantastic, and by far not just one of the best looking versions of it, but by far one of my favorite versions that I have in my collection. Sculpt wise, it looks so spot on, absolutely about as picture perfect of a junior T-Rex sculpt as you are going to find. It also has extremely impressive fine detail from head to tail, making it one of the best sculpted when it comes to fine detail as well that I have seen. It's also extremely vibrant when it comes to how good the detail looks on the model. Of course, this is something that you would have to build and paint yourself, so how it actually turns out would be dependent on you, or if you pay a paleo artist to paint it up or anything like that for you. You know, that's always an option, but it's definitely absolutely worth buying and adding to your collection, especially if you are a fan of the Lost World Jurassic Park, or specifically, again, Jurassic Park Tyrannosaurs. It's one of the best models that you are going to find, especially of this specific T-Rex. The overall appearance to it is also really nice because it does have a base to go down under it, and that of course creates the entire display and creates it in almost a museum-like quality. And on top of that, kind of adds a little life to it. Even if it is standing in just a neutral pose, the addition of the nice earthy area and everything underneath is pretty much a perfect addition to something like this to kind of take it from looking just like it is a regular everyday maquette and also adding some life to it to kind of create a more living version of this T-Rex. Now, as far as the paint and everything goes, that was obviously done by me. I'm pretty happy with it. You'd have to decide if you think it looks good or not. Again, I can't really decide on my own when it comes to my paint apps. I don't want to say it looks good or bad. I'm happy with it, I'll say that, but you guys would have to tell me if it looks all right or not. But one way or another, like I said, I'm happy with it as far as my paint goes, but the sculpt and everything is absolutely awesome. This was actually printed out for me by Bradley Ford as well, so I have to give a huge shout out and thank you to him for being super cool and helping me to finally get this bad boy, printed out and shipped my way. So a massive thank you to him for being the coolest as always. So let me know in the comments section what you guys think, and if you are interested in this, I will include links in the description to where you can purchase the files on CG Trader and Cults 3D in case you wanted to grab those files, get this beautiful model printed out and again added to your collection. Also, I will include the link to the Instagram account of C3D Models where you can check out everything they are creating and working on, which is always unbelievable. So check out all of those links. Definitely grab the files and get this printed out and added to your collection, and like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.